What is up, guys? Dopi here on the best looking houses in New World. I'm going to be showing the houses with the appearance being the main focus throughout this video. For the first one I have is in Everfall, and it's this house right down the road. Leading up to these stairs is this little $15,000 house. It's quite roomy in here. I really like this house solely because of these stairs and this little extension to the side. It actually adds a nice flavor to it. But other than this house, there's three more. The second two are going to be over here. This one is kind of nice. It's quite big inside. It's $20,000, and this fence is quite in the optimal location for like people coming by, seeing the trading stuff. They'll turn around, they'll see this house for sure. And the second house over here on this side is this house that is completely fenced off, but this entire yard is theirs. And that's why I kind of like this house a lot. Not because it's just a generic looking house in the inside and the structure, but the yard itself is quite roomy. And the last house in Everfall that's quite different from all these copy and paste house is this quite rarer copy and pasted house. These houses are prevalent in other settlements as well, but in this place it just looks good. The inside is just roomy with a second floor being up top, and there is a back yard over here. It's not really, it's kind of hidden behind this, so it's not that great for location wise, but it does look good overall. For the next set of houses that we are in is in Windsward, and these two really stood out to me really well because the first one is a $20,000 house, which I'm about to show you over here to the left of the community board. This house stood out to me so well that I actually bought it. This is my house at the moment. It's kind of bland, I know. The inside is really good. The balcony here view is not bad at all. You can see the front from your house. This is like the most popular road in Windsward because it reaches to the PvP quest and up to Everfall. And this is the second floor. This house is pretty spacious, and for a $20,000 house is not as big as some could get, but it is definitely better looking. I 100% agree with that. It's because it's unique compared to like this one. This $20,000 house or $10,000. I mean, it's literally, I can find 17 different houses that are the exact same in Windsward alone. So I really like these unique looking houses that are a bit different. And speaking of uniqueness, this one is actually a big unique factor inside of Windsward, especially because it's the only one in the center of the town. Like, and it's only 2,500. I mean, if you have 50% off, it's 2,500, but its original price is $5,000, and it's just great. Like, this balcony is pretty god tier, if you ask me. I honestly think if I were to get it, I honestly want to get two houses in Windsward just because of this house. That's how much I like it. Maybe it's because of the stairs, I don't know. It's probably because of the balcony, but this house in general just looks great. Next up is First Light, and there's two houses that stood out to me. The first one is this $15,000 house that has a view of everything. The inside is kind of generic, but it is in a good position, and it's one of the best ones in First Light. The only reason I chose this one as my first one to show it is because of its position. But my favorite one in First Light that is, you know, a little bit unique throughout the entire game, I would say, is this one over here. It's quite at the edge. I'd say it's quite unique, but I think I like it because of the stairs. I don't know why, but stairs really put me into a fancy mood or something in this game. This house is separated by two floors with stairs on the outside of the house, so it is quite out of the box, literally. So that's why I like this house. It's quite, you know, roomchest bit too. It is a $20,000 house, so there's a $15,000 house and a $20,000 house. Sadly, there's not really many cheap houses that look good at this spot. They're just boxes, basically. In Monarch's Bluff, there are two houses that I like to point out. The first one is actually my favorite in Monarch's Bluff, and it is a $5,000 house on top of this hill. This is right next to the community board, and it is the only house up here. View is pretty nice. Inside is not much different than most one-story houses, but the outside yard is kind of cozy. And the main reason why I'm picking this is literally because of the position. It makes it look pretty cool. The next house is right down these stairs, and through here you'll see this pretty cool $20,000 house. It's quite nice, and what's really great about it is that in the back they have a yard that everyone can see if they go to the tannery, the loom station, or the outfitting station. And there's also two houses, a $10,000 one and a $5,000 one here too, if you guys like those. But this is hands down my second favorite house inside of Monarchs, and it is a $20,000 house too. So there's also stairs going up, basically just for aesthetics. It doesn't really do anything besides going over to that place. Next, we are in Cutless Keys. Now, Cutless Keys is quite cool because it has a lot of the good houses in this settlement. As you can see, this is the same one that I showed you guys in Windsward, this $20,000 house. It's my favorite in this place as well, and it's a good color scheme. And to the right over here is also the other one that I showed you guys in Windsward, the $5,000 house, and it's also my second favorite. And it's both of them are actually right next to the community board, so that's a plus. And the last one I wanted to show you guys is over here. The community board's right over there. We just went over here, and this is the one that was in Everfall. It's a little bit more polished up in this one though, but it is technically the same house, just different color scheme and a fenced door. Now it's time for the big juicer, Ebonscale Reach, which is a level 50 to 60 place. This is so far the final place on the map, and this place is beautiful. This has the most beautiful buildings in the game, but their structures are kind of generic. Like I'll show you, this is a beautiful $15,000 house, which is the most expensive house in this territory at the moment. But as you can see, it is just a standard two-story with a slight balcony over here. But to be fair, the balcony is beautiful and it has a great view. Because like right now we're at the tippity top. We're at the tippity top, and this place is beautiful looking down on it. So if you just want the outside look, this place might be the spot, but it is a level 50 to 60 place, and it probably will be heavily taxed depending on the place. This is a $5,000 house here, and it is beautiful just for $5,000. It's the decorations, it's generic inside, yes, but it works. Now, most houses are like those two. There's a $10,000 house. This is another $15,000. That house over there, sadly, is not available. If it was, that would be 100% the winner. There's a giant balcony, and overall, this place is just amazing. It is a beautiful place, but sadly, there's not a $20,000 house to capitalize on that 50% discount. We are in Brightwood right now, and there's really only three houses that stood out to me. The first one is this $5,000 house, and the only reason why this stood out to me is that it's basically the only $5,000 house on this settlement, at least from what I've seen. The next one is the same house type as the one I have in Windsward. It's a $20,000 house right here, and it is pretty cool. It's green, so that's a plus, I guess. And down here is my favorite house in this settlement, actually, and it's the one that looks like the one in Everfall. We are in Restless Shore right now, and it is surprising because this place has basically almost every single house type. There's one from the Windsward that I was talking about earlier. There is one from Monarch's Bluff that looks really sick. I actually really like this one. This might be my favorite in this place because of the cooking station being basically like attached to it almost, and the cow. And this is the one from Everfall, which is pretty nice as well. This place has like I said, almost every single type of housing. The place itself is pretty cool as well. This is like an annoying place to get around for sure, but it is still a sight for sore eyes. Especially that boat. That boat's kind of hot. We are currently in Mourningdale right now, and let's start it off with the first house. Now, this is the same house that's in Windsward. Actually, this entire settlement has a lot of similarities with Windsward. This being just one of them. This $5,000 house is in the middle of the trading district, and it's still one of my favorite looking houses because of the balcony and the stairs. Next up is this Monarch's Bluff house right here. This one is pretty good for a $20,000 house and a big it's just generally big and a decent sized backyard. And the final one is the other Windsward house. We are currently in Weaver's Fen right now in front of the trading post, and there are 3 houses I like to point out. The first one is this giant balcony looking house that's $10,000. It is pretty good for the price because of the giant balcony, and the location of it is pretty convenient as well. The second house I like to point out is this one right here. It looks quite similar to the one in First Light. The only difference is that the one in First Light went into the second floor on the side, but this one is just a balcony / deck by itself. You can also go underneath these stairs to those doors back there, which is pretty cool. And the last house I like to show is this house right here. There are quite a few of these houses around the settlement, like 3 or 4, but it doesn't change the fact that I like this house more than the other duplicate houses around the world. It's just nice and cozy. There's 2 balconies here. It's not just a box, it's more different. I do enjoy this house quite a bit, but my favorite house in the settlement probably has to be the deck because it's just a giant deck. And we are finally at Reekwater. These houses are kind of unique because they're either all the way around or they're around at the back, like you see there. This is mostly square and it goes around at the back. These houses don't have much ground outside of the inside, but this is a $10,000 house right here, and it's not bad. It's a very niche type of house for this settlement. You won't see this anywhere else for the moment. I don't know if they're gonna add more or not, but down here is a better $10,000 house in my opinion. As you can see, it's more room, more square-like, and the back is more roundish. This over here is a $5,000 house. I don't mind it too much. It's nice and circle-ish. And finally, last but not least, right here to my left, by the way, over there is the trading post area. We are currently next to the alligator in front, and this is the only $15,000 house that I've seen so far that looks really good. I generally really do like this house, and I think this is my favorite house for this settlement. Thank you guys for watching. This has been my video on my favorite houses that I've seen so far in New World. I'd like to point out that your first house is 50% off, and the tax rate will always be 50% off as well. So that is a good note. So I would recommend trying to get a $20,000 house right off the bat. If you don't want to, that's fine. That's what I did. I got mine in Windsward that I've showed you guys earlier. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.
I think I'm in love, say it way too often. I can't play these games, think I'm switching up the offense. See me in LA, I'll be moving cautious. I can feel no pain rolling up, I'm so exhausted. I'll be so exhausted.